All right, how is your nice guy syndrome affecting your relationship? In this video, I'm going to go through some of the key areas where your codependency, your people pleasing, your acquiescing is really damaging your relationship. Now, for many people, they realize they've got the nice guy syndrome and then they think, fuck it, I've got to get out. I can't deal with this. Now, I would share from my own experience, this is possible. All right, I know many men who have been able to rescue their relationships through diligent work. Now, it's not an easy ride. You have to overcome some very deeply ingrained patterns, but trust me, it is possible once you become aware of how you are negatively impacting your relationship. If you get it right, she will start to respect you more, okay? She will start to admire you more. You'll bring back that attraction, you'll bring back that polarity, and she will stop being a pain in the ass. Okay, where is it going wrong? Okay, the first is your passivity. Hear it from me. Passivity is one of the number one killers of a relationship. If you are a man and you're wanting to take that masculine pole, you're going to have to learn leadership. Now, leadership isn't all about being domineering, barking commands, making all the decisions, etc. No, it's about being sensitive, being able to listen, seeing what is best for the relationship as a whole, and then making decisions with her best interest in mind. Okay, so you've really got to prioritize the relationship as an entity in and of itself. All right, passivity is also where you abdicate responsibility. All right, it's where you shy away from taking responsibilities, whether that's your part in a conflict and disharmony, whether it's responsibility around the household, responsibility in your work, your finances, also your healing, your inner work. All right, you have to take responsibility. This is a hallmark character trait of a mature masculine man. The other part is initiation, a lack of initiation. This ties into the leadership thing I was just speaking about, but you need to get over your fear of rejection or looking stupid and initiate. And this is a huge thing in the bedroom for nice guys. They are afraid of rejection, afraid of having their shame triggered. So they make no forward movement, all right? And your woman will just be left there in her head thinking, oh, am I doing it right? What do we do? Oh, is it because I'm ugly, etc., etc. Okay, this is a huge polarity killer. This is a huge attraction killer. Passivity also shows up as indecisiveness, all right? You've probably heard this one, but it's a classic, going out to dinner and you put the decision on where to go on her, all right? Passivity is also not confronting difficult conversations that need to happen, all right? Good, long-term, healthy relationships actually lean into conflict, lean into healthy conflict resolution rather than shying away from upsetting your partner because you think the easy life is the best life. But as Robert Glover will tell you in his book, No More Mr. Nice Guy, this is the number one false paradigm the nice guy is working from. Okay, thinking his best life is when it's all just plain sailing and he never rocks a boat. Doesn't work in a relationship. All right, moving on. The next way you are ruining a relationship is getting defensive. Okay, this is coming from your nice guy toxic shame. Okay, you are so afraid of being shamed or guilted that whenever your partner is emoting, having an emotional upsetting moment, and she's maybe criticizing you for something, etc., rather than holding space, being present, and letting her emote, you step in straight away and make it all about you. Okay, it's, hey, no, I didn't do that. What? You're crazy. And in its worst form, this can be gaslighting. All right. Again, this is a hallmark sign of insecurity. You can't take criticism because 9 times out of 10, she is probably right. Okay. And it's just your insecure masculine ego that doesn't want to hear it. You want to be perfect. You want to be respected. I get it. But to be a trusted partner, to create polarity and thriving intimacy, you need to be able to stay not stoic, but grounded and non-reactive when she is perhaps criticizing you or is upset with something. Okay, don't get defensive. G.S. Youngblood, in his book, The Masculine Relationship, puts it really nicely. He calls it feelings before facts, all right? Empathize with her feelings before putting the facts out there or having to defend yourself. Because yes, there might be times where she's inaccurate or she's missed a few things or there's been some misinterpretation. But if you really want your relationship to thrive, you need to first prioritize her emotions. All right, because otherwise she's not going to feel safe to bring her emotions to you. And that translates to the bedroom, right? She's not going to feel safe to bring her, fullest, deepest sexual expression in the bedroom. And ultimately, this is something we as men value highly. Okay, so you need to see that your defensiveness, your inability to empathize and hold space for her emotions is impacting your sex life. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is resentment. All right, nice guys can so easily fall into these resentment cycles where their toxic shame is making them believe that their needs don't matter. All right, they are also so conflict avoidant that they don't want to rock the boat, so they hold everything in. All right, they never communicate what they're feeling, what they want. They never uphold boundaries. They never kind of put a foot in the ground saying, hey, I'm not going to tolerate this, all because they are so afraid of upsetting people. And, I don't need to go so much into why that all is, but just know when that happens, when you don't speak up for your needs, boundaries, wants, etc., there's no chance that your partner can actually meet you there. All right. And when they go unmet, when boundaries are crossed, you will become resentful. All right. You're like, why isn't she treating me how I want to be treated? Well, the fact is, you're not communicating, you're not helping her, you're not setting your partner up for success. This can also occur with the covert contract thing, which I've spoken about in other videos, where you kind of have this unspoken, unwritten agreement in your head, but she knows nothing about it. So there's a lot of expectations. And of course, they go unmet because she doesn't know about them. You get resentful. Resentment in its worst form will lead to passive aggressive behavior. This is sort of antagonistic animosity towards your partner without it being overt. Okay, so a subtle backhanded compliments, avoidance, withdrawal, maybe like, even small things like, let's say you're making breakfast together and you are feeling pissed with her. So I don't know, you give her the smaller portion, all right? Or you finish the orange juice for yourself rather than, being kind and generous. The nice guy gets disproportionately defensive because any criticism will be triggering that childhood toxic shame. All right. As a child, he believed his needs weren't met because of who he inherently is, not because of his parents or caregivers' shortcomings or their limitations. Okay. He internalized this stuff because at that age, when the ego is forming, between like 1.5 to 3, 4 years old, a child will make everything in the world about them, even their parents' neglect. All right, if you really want to overcome this, it's paramount that you are as clear as rain with your intentions, your needs, your expectations. All right, you need to put them out on the table no matter how awkward or embarrassing that's going to be, because your partner needs to know where they stand, what is expected of them. All right, it's better to face the discomfort of being frank and honest rather than the kind of chaos that ensues when things are unspoken and resentment builds up. All right, the other area where a nice guy tends to fuck up in relationships is not being assertive with boundaries. Okay, this is very codependent behavior. Now, I have spoken before how nice guys tend to attract quite emotionally volatile women, perhaps women whose lives are a bit of a mess, need fixing, and in worst cases, women with borderline personality traits or a whole disorder. But what happens is that he'll end up finding himself in a very turbulent, dramatic relationship dynamic, okay, where there's a lot of chaos, okay, and he ends up tolerating the intolerable, all right, because he is so conflict avoidant. He really believes that he doesn't matter or his needs don't matter. So he never advocates for himself. He can never put his foot down with strong assertiveness. All right. This can also come from him believing that all these stronger masculine traits are bad, perhaps because he didn't want to emulate his toxic, abusive father. Or he's been indoctrinated by cultural viewpoints, which says like all men need to be soft and passive. All right, man really needs to learn to not get sucked into his partner's emotional turmoil. That's not to say withdraw from it or minimize it or dismiss it. No, it's just don't get reactive when your partner is emoting. She needs you to be the stable rock. This is going to happen when you learn to trust yourself with emotional discomfort, all right? When you've trained your nervous system to be able to handle a high arousal charge where it doesn't really bother you, so you can stay calm and relaxed and open in these stressful or threatening situations. Okay, that's not to say your partner having an emotional outburst is threatening unless it's kind of really pointed attack at you, but it is kind of registered on the nervous system as being stressed. All right. And you need to understand, you as a man, you need to cultivate this nervous system capacity outside of the relationship. You can't just expect it to happen when it's there. All right. So this happens through, doing challenging things, workout, cold showers, martial arts, etc., breath work. All right, because if you can't handle your woman's emotional upset, if you are really perturbed by that and you have strong aversions, what's going to happen is either you get defensive or you shut down or you withdraw, as well as feeling the need to fix it. All right, and this is common for nice guys. One, because what I am speaking about here is where you are so avert to stressful situations, you haven't learned the nervous system capacity to hold it, to stay grounded, that you need to step in and find the solution. And I'm sure, well, I hope you've heard before that this isn't how you build deep intimacy with women. Women don't really want a solution to their emotional problems in the moment. Yeah, they might want that later on down the line, but when they are emoting, they really just want to be seen and kind of empathized with. So again, before jumping to solutions, empathize. All right, the other reason why a nice guy will feel the impulse to step in and try and fix his partner's emotional turmoil, whatever it is because he has this savior complex, all right? His lack of self-worth makes him constantly seeking approval and validation through the outside world, and being seen as a savior, the rescuer, is very much a way he can get that kind of validation. So as soon as his partner's, emoting, he'll jump in, not because he really cares to help her, but it's actually a self-centered impulse, self-centered motive, whether that's conscious or not. And often with nice guys, it's a little bit more unconscious because there's deep, deep conditioning. Okay, in the case where this emotional outburst or difficulty is sort of included him or directed at him, another reason why the nice guy will jump in and try and fix is because he is so avoidant of the feelings of shame. He has such aversion to being guilted or being responsible. He wants to appear perfect. He doesn't want to upset anyone, because if that is the case, it will reflect on him and he will register as I am bad rather than his actions were bad. Okay, please know the difference between healthy shame, which is, hey, I fucked up here, I am a human being, I am fallible, but I'm going to learn from it. Okay, this is excusable and I will take responsibility for it, versus toxic shame, which is, oh, I upset someone, I did something wrong. This means I am inherently bad. I am an awful person and I won't be able to get my needs met. See the difference? All right, that's just about it. There's a lot of stuff here, but this is how your nice guy syndrome is affecting your relationships. As soon as you become cognizant of all of these ways, you can start tracking them. All right, please track your behavior and start practicing doing the opposite. A lot of this stuff is going to come down to you reclaiming your masculine core, you learning nervous system regulation, you understanding that having difficult conversations is what creates deep harmony, and understand that your woman is going to emote. All right, she's going to have emotional outbursts. What's key is that you don't eject, you don't get defensive, you don't dismiss it, and you also don't just sit there like a rock thinking, oh, I'm holding space, I'm just going to be really stoic. No, you need to be grounded but open, all right? That capacity to empathize. Remember, feelings before facts. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, your experiences in the comments below. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit the like button, and stay tuned for more content.